Hey there, friendly call signs. This is Scott from Place of Soldiers, and in this video we're talking to Niamh from Waylands Forge in Birmingham about being a brick and mortar store, board games, RPGs, and the local gaming community. Hey there, friendly call signs. This is Scott from Place of Soldiers, and today I'm in Birmingham and with Niamh, and we're at Waylands Forge.
Hiya.
Hi. Thanks for having me in and showing me the shop. So I'm going to interrogate you over the next sort of few minutes with a whole bunch of questions. We're going to talk about shop and gaming and a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay. So, how did you get started with the shop and where did the name come from?
Right. Came out of university, into a recession, couldn't get a job, ended up working at a computer shop as their role-playing specialist. Then they went pop, ended up working again, running a shop for somebody. Poached by a supplier basically to start a shop up in Birmingham. So first Walsall, then Birmingham, got the role-playing shop up and running. Then they went into they went bust as well. Ended up with friends eventually putting money behind me to start the shop up because I didn't have the finances to do it at the time. Mm-hmm. The name comes from Wayland's Smithy. It's the oldest barrow in Britain. But you can't call it Wayland's Smithy because the Simpsons character Wayland Smithers is just that little bit too close and probably better known than the barrow. But I played a character in a freeform game with 120 other people, and it was Wayland was the character name. Mm-hmm. I said, "What are you calling that?" Sorted, done. And that's how it all happened. Within a year of getting stuff sorted out, we had a shop in 5 ways. Mm-hmm. We're there for 8 years until they decided to demolish the place. So we then moved to Fletcher's Walk, which used to be underneath the old library. Mm-hmm. There for about 8 years, and then they demolished that.
I'm seeing a theme.
Well, we moved into a listed building here. They can't demolish this. Mm-hmm. So that's the idea. We're kind of safer. But yeah.
Good. Yeah. So what inspired you to focus on board games and role-play games?
I'm a role player. The board games were an accidental find partway through the first year of us running the shop. The supplier came to us and said, "Well, these Euro games, do you want to try some?" Come on then. And yeah, the first few years we had one shelf unit of board games, and that was probably more Euro games than most people had seen in Birmingham. It's back in the days when Settlers of Catan was the German version, and they used to slit the back of the cellophane and put a photocopy of the English language rules into it, and that's how you got Euro games back then. But since then, it just has exploded. There was an article in one of the big broadsheets, central pages, covering Carcassonne, Settlers of Catan, and Alhambra, and that threw Euro games into the British public's spotlight. So suddenly, it's gone from good to better to absolutely crazy now, where half the wall space is board games in the shop.
Absolutely. Do you specialise in any particular types of games or genres?
No, I've always had the idea of chucking the net out as far and wide. So we'll try anything that's not mainstream we'll have in board game wise. Mm-hmm. So all the Euro games we can get, not Monopoly. The British public's had enough of Monopoly, I think.
It's got a new expansion now. Makes the game shorter, apparently.
It's got so many expansions. But no, not knocking Monopoly. Anything that you won't find in a supermarket going cheap, because people say, "Why don't you stock it anyway?" Well, because our trade price is probably the same price as what Tesco's is selling it at when they decide to sell it. But no, Euro games, loads of different ones. No genre is taboo. We'll just basically, if it's a good game, we're going to put it on the shelf. Same with role-playing games. We don't just stick to the mainstream. We'll do the indie games. We'll do the smaller company games. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
great.
The more choice, the better.
So what's your best-selling game right now, then?
$200 question.
Yep.
Role-playing wise, the new D&D came out running. We probably saw more of that than any other single role-playing book for a while. But ongoing sales for the role-playing, the indie games from Chaosium, games from Free League, they've all gone down really well. There's also a movement away from D&D to other games from certain groups. So
you mentioned they're indie games.
Yeah.
Do you carry either games which have links to the local community or are independent but tied to Birmingham in some way?
Right. Okay, indie games I was talking about was the role-playing games, which are the small publisher role-playing games, which don't generally see, it's not the big books, it's the little A5 books more often, small runs. But to answer the question about locally produced games and stuff connected to Birmingham, we've got a few. Mindleaf by Andy Hopwood we're still stocking. He's a local game designer, and every time he brings up a new game, we'll buy a few off him direct straight away. It's always worth basically having a little bit of the local culture sitting around. And board game wise, Brass Birmingham has been a really good seller for us, and the game is very good. There's two versions of Brass. Brass Birmingham is the better seller because it's the better game. But it's just,
being from Lancashire, I'm obviously going to disagree with you.
well, Brass Birmingham, it's the name in Birmingham. Yeah, people think, oh, it's not about Birmingham. It's about the entire Black Country, all the way up to the Potteries. It's just almost a second edition of what Brass Lancashire does. They're both really good games. But the geek score is higher on Birmingham, but it should be. Anything with Birmingham on it does seem to sell, which is okay. Some people will come in and go, oh, and buy it without even asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's talk about role play games then. So role play game specific stuff. So do you run any kind of like in-store RPG events or campaigns or anything like this here?
Before lockdown, we were doing a Wednesday night role playing night, but unfortunately, after lockdown, not enough groups came back due to lots of people going online to do their on virtual tabletops to do their role playing. We'll be doing the Goodman Games Day again this year. We did it last year, where we've got a ref or two come in and just run Dungeon Crawl Classics for people to learn how to play it or just get a game in. But other than that, we're not doing anything much on the way of campaigns currently. If we get a chance to, we'll grab at it, but it's finding something that's pre-organised that we can just step in on the advertising without having to try and promote it ourselves, because I'm not so good at promoting stuff at the moment.
So what RPG systems do you find are most popular right now?
Ignoring D&D, because that's always going to be the big seller, because it's synonymous with role-playing. People come into the role-playing games and go for D&D because it's the one they've heard of. After that, Pathfinder's been doing very well, even though it's kind of like a different version of D&D, really. And they'll hate me for saying that, but it's much of a muchness. We sell a lot of RuneQuest. We sell a lot of Call of Cthulhu.
Love Call of Cthulhu. Big fan.
Excellent game. Moving away from the standard fantasy, and RuneQuest isn't really standard fantasy. It's more swords and sandals rather than medieval fantasy. But moving away from that, Traveller has been doing very well for us. It's just a science fiction game. It's one of the really old ones that's never gone away. But stuff from Free League, like The Walking Dead, has gone very well. Free League do really well because their starter sets are excellent. So they're a good introduction into that. Whichever game you're going to pick from them, be it The Walking Dead or The One Ring for Lord of the Rings, gone down very well. Looking quickly. Alien. They did the Alien board role-playing game, which is excellent, but we're waiting for a new edition where they... everyone said, why is there a new edition? Well, the new edition is going to be white pages with black ink, so it's more readable, because the first edition is all black pages with white ink, which isn't as user-friendly. Looks great until you try and actually absorb the text.
Are there any upcoming releases that you're currently really excited about?
Next week, we've got a lot of books coming in. So our first order from Chaosium direct. So there's a Call of Cthulhu book, a RuneQuest book, and a Pendragon book coming in, which is the Pendragon, it's the Games Master's Guide. For Call of Cthulhu, it's the Gaslight Keeper's Rulebook. And then RuneQuest, it's the Gods of Fire and Sky, which is just a background book with extra cults in it for the game. With RuneQuest, there's been a huge following of people for the last 20, 30 years, show my age. And so the background's very in depth if you want to delve that deep into it, and it's yet another book that people have really been waiting to see the new edition of. There's also a new traveller book coming out next week. I'm one of those people who ended up collecting RuneQuest and Traveller, so when the books come out, I end up buying them straight away. And so those two, I'm automatically going to say, yeah, I'm really excited about that. Shop-wise, looking a bit further forward, the Alien second edition, looking really forward to that. The first edition role-playing game was fantastic. This one being easier access, can't go wrong.
Can you recommend an RPG to somebody who is new to RPGs?
Ooh. In the old days, it'd be D&D. Easy answer. Currently, the D&D starter sets, what we need for a new bit and someone new to the game is a starter set. Don't jump into the big book. Go for a starter set because it's got a cut down version of the rules normally. You'll get some dice in it. You'll get an adventure in it. The D&D ones are at the moment hard to get hold of. The Pathfinder one is very good. But then also, I'd also say go for fantasy initially because it's easy. Everyone knows what a sword is. Whereas you go to a science fiction role-playing game, Star Wars is a very different background to Star Trek. And there's loads of other genres of science fiction. So trying to get everyone on the same page at the same time, if you're all new, is a bit more awkward. So sticking to fantasy is better, or stick to something you know, like the Free League starter sets are fantastic. And I'm just going to pull this off because
conveniently have one here.
That one, which you can see, is Walking Dead, based on the TV series, based on the comics. It's zombie survival. At the end of the day, everyone can have watched the TV series to some extent, got an idea of what's happening, and just run with the game. So you just need a common ground, so the ref doesn't have to explain everything. And what's this mean? But yeah, anything with a good starter set. The Call of Cthulhu starter set, which is mythos horror in the 1920s, is superb. Probably the best starter set released for a while, if not ever. It kind of redefines what you should have put into a starter set from the start.
Yeah, I picked it up at Games Expo last year. And took it home and ran it straight away. And it's because I've always been a big Call of Cthulhu fan, like right back through various different editions. And so when I saw that stuff, I was like, oh, this is ideal for a group of friends who I have who want to try Call of Cthulhu, and it's very entry level for them.
I've just thought of another one that's a good starter. And stretching again, there we go. The Warhammer Fantasy role-playing starter. Say that mostly because a lot of people who roleplay have also dabbled in Games Workshop's miniature games. So they have an idea of the background. And it's a nice starter set. It'll get you going. It has an adventure in it and stuff. So that's just Excellent. So we don't keep just talking about two companies.
Excellent. Well, let's move away from roleplay games then, and let's talk about board games.
Board games.
All right. So what's a hidden game in your personal board game collection that doesn't get enough love?
Lords of Waterdeep.
Excellent game. Excellent game.
It's badged as a D&D board game. It's anything but. It's using the background of Waterdeep from the D&D setting, but it's a proper Euro worker placement game. It's very, very good. Love it. I can't say more than that. Most of the D&D board games generally are figures on a dungeon. Basically a board game version of the role-playing game almost. But this is not. It's a proper Euro game.
Yeah, I agree. I love Lords of Waterdeep. It's a fantastic game. Looking at everything that you've got on your shelves at the moment, and there is a lot of stuff, and guys will take some photos a little bit later and you'll be able to see the variety of gear that's currently crammed into this little shop. Games here that are especially great for families or beginners, people who are looking to get into board games. They know Monopoly, they know Scrabble, they know Cluedo, but they want to know modern board games.
Easiest entry level to Euro games is probably Ticket to Ride from Days of Wonder. Days of Wonder, when they set up, went for writing rule books for families, not for gamers. So they're aimed at people who are not used to reading the more in-depth hardcore gamer board game rule books. Here's one we prepared earlier. Ticket to Ride is, okay, it's trains. Not everyone's favourite, but Ticket to Ride does the job nicely. It's a very simple game. Plays very well. There's a lot of there's not a complexity to it, but there's a lot of tactics when you're playing it. And if you don't want to go for the full version, they do little ones based in a city with variant rules, and that's just over 20 quid. So 15-minute game. As opposed, the advantage of most of the Euro games is time. If we go back 30 years, a lot of the board games would take 4 or 5 hours. The Euro games, 1 to 1.5 hours tops normally. Some will take a lot longer, but they don't take the entire evening. So people aren't then daunted about the idea that they're going to have to sit there on the table.
Yeah.
But Ticket to Ride, very good intro games. But Days of Wonder and any of their games are aimed at an audience that's not used to board gaming.
Same sort of question. What would you recommend for either small groups or large groups? So like party games.
Right. Party games, well, 5 to 6 players plus, really. Code names or Dixit will do more than that. But it's instead of a board, there's just cards, and it's much more round the table and much more chatty.
I found that Just One works as a good party game as well. Good entry-level type party game.
And there's the one-night werewolf games as well, which are really aimed at that.
So do you offer demo events for games?
We've got the Goodman Games Day coming up. And other than that, if we've got games playing in the shop, we're happy to have people come and have a look and watch. We don't mind that. We've had people sit in and watch games of Magic when there's been the tournament going.
What's the Goodman Games Day? Tell me about that.
Goodman's Game Day is we get a ref or two in to run a game in the morning, game in the afternoon of Dungeon Crawl Classics normally, but they also do Mutant Crawl Classics and a couple of other role-playing games. It's a role-playing game day for the Goodman Games range of stuff. And if I remember last year, we had a freebie to give out to everyone who played, as long as we didn't go, well, for the first 12 people who were playing.
Every was a freebie.
But it was really an introduction to the game and trying to get people to play that rather than some of the other games they might have been playing. Got a few people converted to play in that instead. So,
well, that dovetails quite nicely into my next question, which is about hosting games nights or tournaments or meetups.
Right. We do on a weekend. We're doing Magic tournaments, Flesh and Blood tournaments. We do HeroClix tournaments occasionally. So we've got those, and we obviously do Friday Night Magic. Other events, we've got Beyblade. We've been adopted by the Beyblade community, and they will come down. I think this Saturday they're coming down, which will probably, by the time this is aired, will have gone. But they'll be outside using some tables and playing the Beyblades.
Beyblade was a thing that, so I've got 2 kids. I've got 9-year-old twins, and they got super mad into Beyblade last month or whatever. So it was their birthdays last week, and they got Beyblades for their birthdays, and they're absolutely mad about it. And you know, they run around the house shouting "Let it rip," and it's just completely bypassing. I'm like, what? I don't understand. I used to play Magic. I understand Magic. I understand, like Pokemon and the Pokemon cartoon and Yu-Gi-Oh! to the same sort of extent. Beyblade absolutely boggles my mind.
I don't understand it. That's why I have staff. Spain's been great. I just don't get it, but it doesn't matter. People like it and will happily support it.
Yeah. Excellent. So is there a regular community that like gathers here in the shop? Do you have regular people who come in?
We've definitely got our regulars. Quite a few different clubs have little visits occasionally where we'll 3 or 4 of them have car shared to get into the shop. And then there's the Magic community we've got for Friday Night Magic, and then when we're doing the big tournaments. And again, the Flesh and Blood have got their own little community that will chat and come in. So each of the games have got their own little community, plus there's little subsets which are from particular clubs.
Excellent. So is there a way that people can then like reserve tables here and come in game, or how does that work?
Saturdays, generally the tables are taken up with a pre-booked proper event, but weekdays, the tables are free. So what we've always said is they're free to any customers to come and play, be it a role-playing game, board game, war game. We've got scenery you can lend them for war games. Literally, as long as you're buying something, happy to have people down and play. We've got the space. Might as well use it. As goes for booking, give us a call in advance or email us or message us on Facebook, and make sure that we've got the space, because we've had it once where two different people turned up and both had thought they'd booked it, and it's like, well, we've got 2 tables free today, that's okay. But generally, as long as we know in advance, so just phone us up, let us know, and we'll make sure it's penciled in as it's you. Currently, role-playing wise, I think we've got one group from one of the local unis comes down. They were coming in about 2 o'clock and leaving about 5, but it's weekdays only, so 10 till 6.
So let's talk a bit about the business and local collaboration and things like this. So are you open to partnerships with local creators and artists? Have you done stuff in the past?
Stuff in the past, yeah. And going back years now, one of our customers used to make jewellery, so we'd have a little stand of her jewellery on the counter for sale. Andy Hobwood has, every time he does a game, we'll buy some of it and put it on the front table, and basically he's one of the local lads. Make sure his games, he's a very good game designer as well, to be totally honest. Nostalgia is a coffee shop stroke retro clothing and records shop just up here. We've borrowed their table space to run a couple of tournaments when we got double booked, thanks to 2 card games having a release, a pre-release tournament on the same day. So happily, basically, send anyone's in the shop, send them up for coffee and stuff to him. It's cheap, it's good. It's so just local collaboration in that way. And I've got a friend who's running Ground for Games, which is a RuneQuest convention later in the year. I should remember the date. And we've got him talking to Nostalgia, who's putting on the space, so we'll have the role playing going on up there, and then people can come down and buy extra bits from us if they feel the need to at lunch.
We've already spoke about how we show some of the people all the stuff that's absolutely rammed into the shop. It is, guys, it is full. It's literally floor to ceiling. There's stuff absolutely everywhere on the walls. I'm surprised there isn't stuff hung on the ceiling. Okay, shop's absolutely rammed. All right. How do you decide what it is that you want to stock? Because there is just this veritable like treasure trove of stuff everywhere.
Right. Listening to what the customers are talking about always helps. What they're interested in is always, if we have stuff they're interested in, then we'll have to come back down, and certainly they want to buy the stuff if they're already interested in it. Review sites, Board Game Geek, looking at the scores but taking it with a pinch of salt. I know Sven looks at the Reddit boards for the Games Workshop releases when we get those coming in. So a little bit of internet research. And then when it comes to board games, or actually figures as well, do I like the look of them? If I like the look of them, put them on the shelf, give it a go. Because if it's not on the shelf, we can't sell it. Yeah. So sometimes it's literally, do I like the look of this? Would I go, yeah, why not?
So can customers actually specific order stuff with you? And
oh yeah, that's a good point actually. Yes, some of the stuff we order in is because customers have said, I want this game, it's coming out soon. Oh, then we have to go research and look at it. But no, if you want a game, we'll order it in. If we don't have it on the shelf, and sometimes it's purely we haven't got the room to stock it because the box is too big, not mentioning anything Gloomhaven, contact us. We could, if it's out already, we can order it in, assuming the supplies are in stock, or we can let you know when it's due back in. Sometimes we found that we're about to order it for somebody and it's on the shelf already. We just forgot it was there. Embarrassing, but it can happen. We have too much of a range.
I can see that happening, to be fair. Yeah.
But yeah, pre-orders we take. I was on about the Chaosium stuff coming in next week. I've got a lot of customer orders for that because I knew the books were coming out. I've basically talked to people I know who are interested in, and a few people have got in touch with me as well. And we've put those on. So we've ordered extra stock in for the customer orders. So yeah, if you do know there's a game about to come out and you want a copy, let us know. We'll get an extra copy and put it aside. That way, because what I haven't said is we generally order wands of stuff in to maximize our range, which is great until it's a new release that everyone's eager about. This is, I really need to know to make sure I've got enough stock for everybody.
And so we're going to draw things to an end. So what's the best way to stay in the loop with what you've got going on and all this kind of thing? Where can we find you on the social medias?
Right. Facebook is the easiest one. The Facebook page will have our tournament schedule for the shop and also photos of restocks and new stuff coming in, which we'll chuck up every day or so. It's linked to, I'm going to say Instagram. I hope that's right. If it's not right, that's because I don't know technology or so I should do anymore. And we also have a Blue Sky account that occasionally gets a few pictures put up on it. Contacting us about it, either Facebook Messenger, email, or phone the shop, or just wander in and ask.
So guys, all the various social media links and everything like that we're going to put into the comments below, so you'll be able to find Waylands Forge, whichever one of the social media jungles you happen to prowl through.
Our website is under construction still. It'll be a case of these are what we've got or can get in. Message us and we'll let you know if it's in stock to ship out straight away or if you have to order it in.
Right, well, we're going to call it to a draw there, okay? I'm going to wander around the shop, and like I said, there's going to be some photos and stuff like that also thrown up so you can see how much stuff is rammed into this little space here, okay? There are miniatures, there are paints, okay? I can see board games, I can see dice, I can see snacks, I can see role-play games, okay? There's D&D minutes, there's stuff everywhere, okay? So we're going to go around, we're going to have a look and take some pictures and stuff like that. But Niamh, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
It's been great talking to you. And yeah, I think I might go and spend some money.
Even better. Cheers.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
So that was Niamh from Waylands Forge in Birmingham. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content and check us out on your other social media favourite platforms, Instagram, Facebook and all the others. And remember, stay friendly.